Hey guys, it's Kelsey here with Kelsey Freeman Photography, and I'm going to be editing this picture for you using Lightroom and Photoshop. So I'm going to start off here in Lightroom, and I'm going to use a preset from the Evoke collection. They're really easy to use, so you kind of just hover over the different presets and see one that you like. You can see the picture changing up here, and this is a really hazy picture, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to it. But I want to run Holland Darken. I really like how this is looking on the picture. So you can see what it does. Nice coloring here, but there's a good bit of things that I want to tweak about it. The first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the grain. A lot of times I really like the grain, but for this picture, not so much. So I'm going to come over down here to the effects section where it says grain, 0, and press enter. And then I'm going to scroll on up to the part that says detail, and I'm going to add a lot of sharpening and then a good bit of reduction, noise reduction under luminance, just so it's like nice and soft looking, and that's good for detail. So now I'm going to come up here and really just work around in this whole top region. It's just going to allow me to adjust all of the light basically. So the first thing I want to do is bring down this exposure. It is a really bright picture and really hazy, so I'm just going to bring this down maybe around 50. And then the contrast, I want to bring up a good bit. So let's see, maybe around there or so. Now, the white balance is a little bit warm, so I'm going to come over here to the white balance, and I'm just going to click auto and let it do its thing. I'm pretty happy with how that coloring looks. I'll do some more coloring in Photoshop. So let's see here. Now I'm going to move on down here to highlights. I want to bring up these highlights just so they're not so dark. Let's see, maybe around there. Now my shadows I think are pretty good. I could lower them or raise them, but it's really just affecting mainly the outer corners. So I'm kind of happy with how they were. And let's see, my whites, they're a little on the dark side, but I don't want to bring them up too much. It might add too much of like a pop of white, and that I don't want that. I want it to be kind of soft and dramatic. So for my blacks, I'm going to bring this down a lot. I do want to add a bit of contrast here with the blacks. So maybe around there. I love bringing my blacks down. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm editing. And then lastly, I want to just tweak around here with the tone curve. I am only going to be messing around with these numbers. I'm not going to be messing around with the actual curve itself. So I'm going to start here with the highlights and really bring them up a lot here. It looks more subtle doing it here versus up here. So you can see it really brought out those highlights on her body. And for the lights, I'm going to bring those up a good bit, but I'm not going to go like up to 100 like I did with the highlights, so maybe around there. My darks, I'm going to bring down a bit just to add some drama, maybe around there. And then my shadows, let's bring those down a good bit as well. Let's see. Maybe around there. So I really like how this looks. It's nice and dramatic. Let me show you before and after. And that is just with using presets here in Lightroom. So I'm going to export this and open it up in Photoshop. All right, so I've got this opened up in Photoshop here, and I'm actually going to start off with cropping this just a little bit and just getting I don't know, just kind of rotating it just a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm going to zoom in here just so I have like good bit of range on how I want to rotate this just a tad. So right about there is probably good. And then I'm going to zoom on out, and I'm going to bring it down maybe about here and get it nice and centered. I'm trying to keep this bridge here in mind, so maybe right about there. And I like that crop. So now I can kind of start editing. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is using actions is open up the Wander collection here, and I just want to do some skin retouches really quick. So I'm going to scroll on down to, here it is, the facial retouching section. Now what I want to do is smooth this skin. So I'm going to click smooth skin and press play. It's going to do all the work for me. All I need to do is brush it on exactly where I want. So I'm going to grab my brush, make it small, and then I want to make sure I'm using a white brush. And my opacity, I'm probably going to use, I don't know, about 50% or so on my brush. So I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller and just kind of brush it on her skin, letting go on places where I don't want to overlap. Awesome. And just kind of going to brush it on over her forehead. And then I want to get her neck and her chest and shoulders and all of that. So let me get all down here. And I'm going to get her arms like so. All right. Nice and soft. Now let's get her legs. Now I'm obviously not going to be, oops, I kind of went outside the dress. I'm not going to be doing this on top of her tattoo for obvious reasons. All right, so just going to brush this on. And I'm going to get down here. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to flatten this. So I'm going to right click and press flatten. Now I do have a flatten action right here, flatten for me, but it just happens for me to right click and press flatten. I'm going to click overall brighten and press play. I want to brighten up her face a little bit, and I'm going to probably use 30% opacity. Like so. All right, and then I'm going to flatten this, and then I'm going to click on eye detail and press play. I'm going to use 100% opacity here on this brush, and I'm just going to brush it right on top of, you know what, actually that's too much. Let's do 50%. I normally use 100, but sometimes on certain pictures it can look too much. I just want to pop out those eyes and the eyebrows, and I also use it on mouths. Just to kind of get it all to pop. Now, I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to click on Skin Contour and run that as well. I'm probably going to use maybe 40% opacity. And I'm just going to brush this onto her skin as well as her hair, just to kind of give it all a little bit of depth here. And let's see here. I'm only going to brush it on the top part of her leg, not so much the bottom. Now I'm going to flatten this, and we can move on. And the next thing I'm going to do is come on down here to my Arden collection, and I'm going to come on to tone add-ons, and I want to run, let's see, Grove, and I'm going to press play. It gives me a really nice brown look, but I actually want to lower this opacity. Maybe about there. And then I'm going to run Silas. Silas adds a really nice, pretty kind of sun-kissed look, but for this picture it's a little too much, so I'm going to lower this opacity. I always say the key to making actions look good, if you especially want to use different ones to get different colors, little goes a long way. Subtle is key. So I always lower my opacity if I'm going to be stacking actions. It really just helps it make it look so much better when it's not overpowering, you know. So I'm also going to do Samson. This adds a really nice warmth, like a sun glow type look, and obviously I'm going to lower this opacity, so maybe around there or so. And now I'm going to scroll out just a little bit so I can kind of see what we've got here. I'm also going to be doing a nice brush, just because I really want like a soft, airy look on the outside. So I'm going to click on, let's see here. Let's do brush on soft brown, press play, and then I'm going to grab my paintbrush, make it really big, and I'm probably going to use 50% opacity, and I'm just going to brush this along the outside like so, and maybe make it a little smaller and do maybe brush on dark brown and do it around like the bottom like so, just to make it really dramatic. So I really like how this looks. The only thing I want to do is brighten up her face a little bit more and get rid of some of the green that's on her skin. So I'm going to come back up to the Wander collection, and I'm going to click on Overall Brighten and press play. I'm probably going to start off with 50% opacity. And I really just want to brush this on her face and her neck. And then I'm going to click on Less Green Skin and press play. And I'm probably going to use maybe 30% opacity on this just to get rid of some of that green that's going on down here. Awesome. So let's see the before and after here. All right. So I wanted to get a better before and after because we got some skin actions here that I want to show off. So here's the true before from Lightroom, and here's our after, before, and after. So anyway, you know what? Real quick, I want to get a true before and after. I totally forgot. I didn't get the before Lightroom edit. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I always include like an actual before and after, and I kind of only got my after Lightroom. Anyway, so here's the true before, and here's the after. So before and after. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was super fun. It was really easy. You can see using Lightroom presets and my Photoshop actions. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Bye.